And the next presentation will show us and teach us ways how deep tech can actually be a benefit for not just individuals, not just businesses, but for whole countries to make more high-tech and more high-value propositions. So our next speaker, she's a leader in Science and Business Cooperation, currently chairing Science Business Widening Group, which is fostering collaboration between the Central and Eastern European countries. By the way, she has extensive experience as a member of the European Parliament, where, as I found out, she had the nickname Mrs. Innovation. So let's welcome on the stage Mrs. Innovation, Edith Herzog. Edith, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
The stage is yours.
Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. Also, those who are in the corner or choose to be outside, if you wish, you can come in. So I'm very happy to be with you today and give some news from Brussels. Smart capital. Yeah? Why smart capital would move to the widening countries and wide fertile soil for the deep tech. I'd like to stop for a minute here. How many of you knows what is the widening countries criteria? Who are the widening countries? Could you tell us?
The countries which is behind of the innovation, research and science, like the Baltic states, and also other Eastern European countries.
Thank you. I had a reason to ask this question. So the widening has a criteria. The criteria for being a widening country is that the average GDP of the country GDP is below 70% of the European GDP. So it's a very concrete criteria. Why it is important? Because the best way to get finance from the European institutions, you have to get a very, very concrete criteria to follow. Yeah? So if your GDP is 69%, you are eligible for the European funds for widening. If your GDP is 71% of the European average, you are not. Yeah? It's very, very important to have a clear division lines. And this is why I like to ask what is the deep tech definition, and I will answer myself. You have 12 different definitions if you go to the Google, but none of them belongs to the European Union. So the deep tech will be better financed from the once we agree on the definition. It's not only the standards, we need a definition which we all agree, and time to time it's very difficult to achieve. So moving forward, I'd like to introduce you a bit of science business. Does anyone who read the news from Brussels Research and Innovation? Okay, so welcome. Science Business is a news company. It was created exactly 20 years ago by the leading journalists in the leading newspapers writing articles about research and development, and they all recognize that they are not able to get to the headlines. Science and research in those days, and even today in the large newspapers, is on the 4th, 5th, or below pages. And they created a company to put research and science to the front page, at least for the decision-making in Brussels. And we have 175,000 monthly website visits. We have 5,000 participants in our events. And we are connected to the European institutions. Actually, we are in the Brussels bubble. These are the news. As you can see, some of the news are coming from our region. This is the news from 9th of May. I selected this one. We also create the newspaper, not beyond the newspapers, strategic papers around Horizon Europe, climate, etc., etc. And as you can see, I will show you something which we did for the deep tech recently. So what is the widening initiative? Yeah, while Science Business has 75 leading corporations around the world, we had very limited number of the entities from Central Eastern Europe. And it was resulted something which we wanted least. We became a kind of biased. Yeah, we didn't bring the entire Europe towards Brussels. So 2 years ago, we created the Widening Countries initiative, both with the news and with the members. So we have those 12 companies who are members of the Widening Network. And what we do, we are from 7 countries. So we have also France, interestingly, who was interested. And we have a unique format. We create narrative. And what we want to tackle is the learning from all European research programs that the success rate is good. So those who apply get successful projects, but most of the entities never, ever apply. So the participation rate is very low. Our researchers do not really wish to go to Brussels, or they do not really believe that they can go to Brussels. So it's not about the window ceiling in Brussels, it's more the sticky floor that you do not leave your grand country to go for European projects. Widening, very often described as a gap. I do not like this description. For me, it's a hill walking. You cannot close the difference in one jump, crossing the gap. It's a long way walking and a long-standing commitment that you want to achieve and overperform the European GDP of the 70% and go beyond. So it's a hill walking, also true for the research sector as a whole. So what we do, we created in 2023 and 2024 the conferences around the opportunities or the very objective differences to explain in Brussels what we are doing in those countries. So we had one annual event. We had the strategies for R&D and resilience security paradigms last year because definitely we are closer to the conflict and it's an objective fact. But we, 1 month ago, had one session on the deep tech. And this is my main purpose to stand here for today. So once again, back to the title. This is what we did. We had the 3 sessions, and we ended up with a 4-page document, which I'd like to introduce to you what the conference had as a summary of the deep tech. I'd like to say thanks for the sponsors, which were the Estonian stakeholders. And so what I introduce here is the common knowledge by those speakers being in Brussels. So the collaboration starts that you do not say what you think, but you listen to the others, and then you try to make a synthesis of the ideas. We had the Deputy Director General for DG DEFI, DG Growth. We had the EIB. We had all kinds of stakeholders present in the meeting. So what are the key learnings? And this is the main thing of my presentation. You can read it all, so I'm not going to all points, but I'd like to underline the last 2. There is a fundament, which was, by the way, very well formulated during that conference too. We have to change the mindset in terms of ambition, risk tolerance, and knowledge management. When we are talking about the deep technologies, the risk is higher. Therefore, our tolerance level, also in the European programs, what we are financing and what we not, have to be adjusted to be able to do with this risk. We are good in making knowledge for money, but Europe needs to be better to make money from the knowledge. And Europe is not so great to make money from the knowledge. And this is why it's so important that you are here, because you are about this. There is another bonmot to say that Europe is very good from lab to fab, but we are not very good from fab to lab. Fabrication doesn't feed the research with the really good ideas because we don't have too much industry left in Europe anymore. Yeah? The service is a much higher ratio than we need to be. So when you are looking the next 7 years framework program and the research programs, you will see these ideas that how we can create a more money from knowledge, how we can put the knowledge to the working capital across Europe. So the key learnings is a very, very dynamic ecosystem. And a very, very dynamic ecosystem is not really the best place for deep tech because deep tech is quite a long term in terms of return on investment. Yeah, you have to get a good idea, you have to get it to the science, you have to get from the science to the pilot project, you have to get from the pilot project for the production, and then when you have the first prototype, then you go to the market. Yeah, so it's much, much, much longer than the normal traditional industries. So actually, in the time when the policy is just accelerating due to the geopolitical challenges and the things are changing very fast, we would build an ecosystem where the deep tech development can find its way, and we have tolerance not only with the risk, but with the longer time that we have to wait for the return on investment, and it has to be somehow well managed. High tech is a high profit, deep tech is a deep pocket. This is the other bonmot in Brussels. Yeah, and this is why everybody tends to go for the high tech, because high tech is a shorter return on investment, or it seems to be. Yeah? And imagine if you are a politician and you say as a politician that I'm elected for the next 4 years, so I will deliver something to my citizens, which will be there in 10 years' time. Do you think that those politicians will be re-elected or will be looked as a best politicians? No. The politics has a 4-year cycle. In the European Parliament is a 5-year cycle, and they are looking for successes within that time frame. So we have to get a narrative somehow to turn this long-term process something which they can bear and they can stand for. Otherwise, they will choose other priority because their number one priority is the re-election or re-election of their parties. We have a very different stakeholders for very different purposes, and I think that you discussed a lot about the TRS. So here you can see that what the universities do, what the EIT is there to make a scale up, and the medium TRL, the European Innovation Council is for the higher TRL, high budget, yeah, so they have the highest budget available from Brussels. And the EIB has actually the venture debt lending, so it's a de-risking. But what is important, that the proximity is to the industry is very, very important. I'd like to highlight here something very important due to geopolitics. Unfortunately, when our systems turn to the democracies, the entire world has opened. Therefore, the investors are kind of rushing through the region. Now, when we have the reshoring of the businesses, we became a very, very good country to invest. Exactly because we are below the average GDP. Yeah? Therefore, with other words, we have the growth potential in our region. And the NATO umbrella creates a security, of course. The second key learning is about the market development. And I'd like to welcome the Deep Tech Atelier for the timely event to attract investors. Because actually, unless you come here, you don't necessarily see that. What you see about the region is somebody else writing about this region. The English-speaking newspapers are writing articles about that region, or the English-speaking audience of those newspapers are reading those news. They don't necessarily read the news from Latvia from the Latvian sources. Yeah? They don't necessarily see the news from the Western Balkan because they don't necessarily speak the languages over there. Yeah? So the smaller languages are kind of disable us. On the other, one side is beautiful that we have all those languages. On the other side, we create biased view in the headquarters. Yes. Very often we see that the private capital is easier to enter to that country, and the smaller countries are easier to go to global than some of the large countries, because they first feel that they can go for a bigger country if they are German, French, etc., while we know that unless we jump, we cannot go to anywhere. So we go to global easier. Universities are key. There is no yet a critical mass for the deep tech talent in the region, so it's very important that we continue the university programs as well. And there is one element here which is very good for the venture capitalists who are in the room. I'd like to tell them that because our countries are research infrastructure poor, we don't have the large lab, yeah, we don't have the Max Planck Institute, we do not have the CNRS. We have a less opportunity for the talent to turn to be a researcher. And if they turn to be a researcher, there is a high chance that with the brain drain, they go to somewhere else. And therefore, those who wish to stay rather choose to be an engineer. Therefore, we are very rich in terms of engineering who are happy to add their talent to develop something new. Thank you for your invitation. The Deep Tech Store, that's my summary, needs a communication to secure the long-term commitment and manage expectations. And finally, I put here my CV. I spent 10 years in the research. Then I was in the specialty chemical business working for a multinational, was responsible for Central Eastern Europe. Then I turned to be politician, member of the European Parliament. Then after, I decided to do the business positioning to help the companies to see what's happening in Brussels is an opportunity and not only the regulation. And then I have been asked to do the science business project to help my own region, which I love. And that's my message to you. Don't give up, learn the language, and go together, because otherwise we cannot change the status quo, and we will never achieve that we are not widening country anymore, because we are above the GDP, the average GDP of Europe. 70%. Thank you.
Edith, thank you. Thank you very much for the honest view and a nice